I'm here with Cheryl Holz, and Cheryl is a master of alcoholing. Now, Cheryl, you have brought this absolutely gorgeous dragonfly art with you. It's so beautiful, and you've promised me that even if somebody doesn't think they're an artist, they can do this.
Yeah, I've got some really simple techniques, not hard at all.
Awesome, let's get started.
Okay, so we're gonna be putting alcohol ink on opaque white craft film, which is flexible. I like to make sure it's secured down before I start working, so it's not gonna do anything funky on me.
Is there a reason that you're working on plastic instead of on like a piece of paper?
This is a hardboard. It's like melamine on masonite, and it's just a sturdy, it's non-porous for the most part.
And what about the film?
The film absorbs everything. It's awesome. So you can write on it with graphite. You can work on it.
And alcohol ink is, of course, better on a shiny or a non-porous surface,
I guess. Yeah, you can use it on any, but yeah, you get it's most exciting when you put it on a non-porous surface. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna start out with the prairie sky. And instead of just dropping it on there, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a paper towel, and I'm just gonna do a light mist of, this is just filled with regular isopropyl alcohol.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna take like a deep blue up here, a little bit of Arctic blue here.
So you're just basically taking the kinds of colors you would see in a sky.
Yeah, and it's almost like an ombre effect, and I'm just gonna wipe them across. Okay, that was not enough, so I need to add a little more. And it dries really quickly, so you want to go ahead and have everything open, ready to go. And then I'm just going to kind of work my way down.
That's
and I'm
nice.
kind of changing as we go. Now, if I want to keep the bottom open for where my grasses are. But what I want to do is I want to go back in and just do some just little clouds. So I'm going to add a little bit more alcohol ink there. Then I can go back in and I can kind of pick up some clouds.
So plain alcohol is going to remove the color.
It's like the solvent. Yes, it's like the solvent. Another fun thing to do, if I spritzed it directly on there, it would be too powerful. So I'm going to spritz it on an old toothbrush.
I was going to say, I hope it's not a toothbrush you're using.
Oh yeah, I used it this morning. No, I'm just going to spritz it on there. Maybe that's not enough. And then you get some nice little, it's almost like when you're painting with
acrylics and you can drop alcohol in
or for watercolor when you put salt on there. Except you don't have to wait because it's almost dry already.
Cool, so once you've done your sky, I'll take that for you.
Sure. So now I'm ready to put in my prairie grasses. So this one's dry and already ready to go. I'm gonna switch colors. I'm gonna go with some warmer colors. And I'm gonna apply it in upward strokes, but I'm not gonna really
like drawing on there.
I am drawing, but I'm just wait, it gets better. So I'm gonna put just a lot of warm colors you'd find in the prairie, but then I really like to then pull out these grass stalks with different types of brushes. And I love this long, skinny brush. Will give you some funky things. A fan brush. You can kind of pull out some seed heads.
That's the thing I love about nature is it is so free-flowing. You don't have to worry about being perfect ever.
Yeah, and there's so much movement and action happening. So next thing I wanted to do, I wanted to keep the sky pretty simple because the star of this whole thing is the dragonfly, or at least it is for me. So I just downloaded some clip art and I printed it on a laser computer film. And I call this auditioning. So it's kind of just giving a try, like, oh, do I want two of them kind of playing around together? Do I want one big huge guy taking up the sky, or do I want this guy kind of fading off? And I like the composition of this one. But what I like about this is you can see through it, and so you can decide compositionally, scale, placement, what I want to do.
So this is really interesting that you printed several of the same design in different, is this the exact same design, just in different sizes? And so this is, you can just, any kind of film that would go through your computer, right? Through your printer is cool. Okay.
Yeah, but I do think scale and placement are important.
Cool.
So there we go.
I'll take that.
Okay, so the next thing that we want to do, I want to add some color. There's a dragonfly called a blue darner. I'm going to do him, and I'm going to take a couple liberties.
He's blue.
Yes, there's a bit of blue in there. But he also, most of them that you see have some iridescent in their wings or their shell of their body. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, it's a rainbow additive. And so I'm just going to put that down.
Ooh.
And then I'm just going to use a clean small brush to kind of spread it around. And since I do want to kind of keep the iridescent to the wing, if I mess up or spaz out, I'm just going to take a Q-tip and clean it up. And then I want to be pretty precise on the corners, so I'm not just going to blob it on there. I'm going to just put a little bit on a palette, and then I'm just going to drop some in there. There's also something called an extender, which helps things kind of blend together. So I'm going to add some of that in there as well.
So even while the iridescent medium is still wet, you can add the color.
Yeah,
it doesn't
absolutely.
hurt it or
Layer
anything?
it on. Yeah, and the iridescent will be floating into the blue as the blue is floating into the iridescent. And what's nice is you can add that iridescent, that rainbow, to any color.
And it doesn't take the ink off the transparency?
That's because I'm painting on the back of it.
Oh.
Yes. If you painted on the front, you'd have issues.
Okay.
So, and thank you for pointing that out because I was supposed to say that. So yes, it's going to go that way. So I flipped it over and I'm doing all the painting on the back.
So if you had words or something, just so you would know, it would be on the back side.
Yeah,
you have to reverse them.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. So then, once he's dry, and he will take a little longer.
Okay. I'll take that from you.
Okay, so this guy, all dry, ready to live permanently in my sky. Yes. So what I want to do, you could cut him out, but what a pain that would be. I don't want to do that. So instead, I'm going to take some, it's double-sided adhesive. So basically, you can make a clear sticker out of anything. And so I'm going to take this off my board now.
You want me to take the board for you?
Sure. Okay. And then I'm going to put a cutting board and then just scrap paper. This is deli paper, anything. You just don't want to adhere it to your tabletop forevermore.
That's probably the voice of experience talking.
Right. Yeah, done it. Been there, done that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to peel off one corner of the double-sided adhesive.
Because obviously it has protection on both sides to keep the adhesive from being exposed.
Sure. And I'm just gonna, and I always cut it.
Oh, you're applying it to the, to the
whole
bottom
thing.
and not to the dragonfly.
Yeah, and then I like to just make sure it's on there good. This is my...
Is that a paintbrush without any bristles?
This is just a piece of trim.
Just a piece of wood.
30 years old that I've used forever.
Wow.
And it works really well. So now I've got it, and again, I cut it larger because if you cut it exactly and you're off, it sticks pretty well. So you want to be able to trim off the extra rather than have a half that isn't working. And I got to grab an edge. Okay, so now I'm going to take off the other edge, and so we don't see any adhesive.
Okay.
We got our dragonfly all iridescent, ready to go, and then you just place him on, and then,
And then you're going to go ahead and cut that out?
I like to use a ruler, Julie. I like to be a little precise. So that's why I put them on a cutting board underneath there. And then I'm cutting off everything. I'm cutting off the craft film. I'm cutting off the extra adhesive. And then I'm going to have one. So basically, it's like a big sandwich.
So that when you're actually done cutting, we're obviously going to have one that looks like this. I did not realize that there was an entire sheet of plastic on top of that. I just thought it was beautifully shiny because it was shiny.
Right.
And if we look at some of the other ones that you brought with you, I love that you can do things that are abstract. You can do things that are obviously for nature. Personal favorite of mine, this tree one is it's like a tree at sunset. It's gorgeous.
That was, I just snapped that, taking a walk. That's another idea of the back painting. So I flipped over the monarch, and then I also went in a different direction with some of the yellow underlayer.
That is super duper cool. Thank you, Cheryl. These are awesome ideas.
Thank you.